I've scratched the itch. Okay, so folks, I saw this extraordinarily bizarre story in my newsfeed. And this story is entitled McDonald's Secretive Intel Team Spies on Fight for 15 Workers, Internal Documents Show. So this came out yesterday. McDonald's collects, quote, strategic intelligence on workers advocating for a $15 minimum wage, including how and where will the fight for $15 attack the brand. And this is from Vice Motherboard. So let's read. For years, McDonald's has internally labeled activists and employees working with the Fight for 15 campaign a security threat and has spied on them, Motherboard has learned. McDonald's says that the work is designed to identify protesters that, quote, could put crew and customer safety at risk. So, wanting a higher minimum wage puts customers at risk? Their safety, no less? Their safety is at risk. So it's not like, oh man, I might have to spend an extra 12 cents on a burger. No, my safety. I just went into that McDonald's and I saw one of the workers talking on text when no one was at the counter. Their phone was on the counter and I saw them typing about wanting a higher minimum wage and then like hail burst through the windows and I got frostbite or like what? Customer safety is at risk?
Unbelievable.
Like, what kind of scenario would customer safety be at risk? But anyway. The fast food giant's secretive intelligence unit has monitored its own workers' activities with the movement, which seeks to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour, including by using social media monitoring tools, according to two sources who worked at McDonald's, who had direct knowledge of the surveillance and leaked documents that explained the surveillance strategy and tactics. A team of intelligence analysts in the Chicago and London offices, by the way, I'm pretty sure that they've got a higher minimum wage in London, but anyway, offices keep an eye on the activities of Fight for 15 labor organizers across the world. Figure out which McDonald's workers are active in the movement and who they are working with to organize strikes, protests, or attempt to form unions. Now again, this is something that we need to do a lot more and that needs to be a lot more in discourse. Is a lot of people love shitting on the government, right? Fuck the government, fuck Joe Biden, all my homies hate Joe Biden, right? But at the same time, a lot of people ignore the private corporate sector and all of the extreme crimes and constitutional violations that they are committing just because they are private entities, right? How many of these force the vote people do you think, for example, how many of these force the vote people do you think go on their fucking shit all the time and talk about how bad corporations are? Not that often. They really just spend all their day attacking the Biden administration and AOC because they don't know what else to do because they're not that smart. And this is something that I try to make a key point in my shows. When big tech companies like Uber, Lyft, Amazon do shit that's very cringy and bad, you gotta point it out. Because these companies, in a lot of ways, are more powerful than the government, and they have significantly less transparency. So this is why I thought that this would be an important story to tell today. All right, so no, McDonald's workers are currently unionized, but many of them are politically involved with Fight for 15, which has organized fast food worker strikes and protests since 2012 and is affiliated with one of the country's largest unions. To date, McDonald's has refused to bargain with workers who the company says aren't its employees because they work for franchises.
Unbelievable.
The surveillance is particularly notable given the current political battle being fought over a $15 minimum wage, which has been proposed in Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package. An increase in the minimum wage is broadly popular nationally with both Republican and Democratic voters, and 2/3 of Americans supporting raising it to $15. But the proposal has become a sticking point in the stimulus legislation. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, a critical vote in the Senate, has said he does not favor a $15 minimum wage. The federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25 an hour for more than 10 years. Specifically, McDonald's was worried about tracking workers who may be involved in activist groups advocating for higher wages, better working conditions, and the right to join unions, such as Fight for $15 campaign, and its financer, the Service Employees International Union, the second largest labor union in the United States. Quote, the idea was to figure out their strategy, counter it, and find out what the key players are and who they know. And I guess we'll find out who this quote is from very soon. According to documents obtained by Motherboard, McDonald's has a goal of collecting, quote, strategic intelligence. Like, these motherfuckers are talking about like they're going to war in like some like fucking like Latin American country. Strategic intelligence. Like, bitch motherfucker, these people flip burgers and like dip fries into a fryer. Like, seriously, like these aren't like enemy combatants with nuclear weapons or something. Like, these are just people trying to feed their families and doing what they need to do to get by. It's ridiculous fucking garbage. Strategic intelligence on, quote, counterparties, as well as, quote, political intelligence on difficult political landscapes and complex markets that could cause significant business disruption and impact returns on investment.
Unbelievable.
One of the stated goals in the intelligence team is to figure out how and where the Fight for 15 attack, where will Fight for 15 attack the brand, according to an internal McDonald's document obtained by Motherboard. Other questions the team was investigating include, quote, what risk scenarios will manifest in 2021 and put pain on McDonald's? And, quote, how is the Fight for 15 executing its 2020 objectives? What new tactics and strategies are not part of the Fight for 15 2020 objectives? Well, whoops. This is just really bizarre stuff. I accidentally clicked the back button on my mouse. So, where were we? Protesters have gathered in parking lots, placed signs on their cars while passing through parking lots and drive-thrus, blocked traffic and parked billboard trucks with Fight for $15 messaging outside McDonald's HQ and restaurant locations, the document reads. There has been little to no notice ahead of the protest events, with strike letters often being sent on the day of the event or even while the event is taking place. The report concludes. It also notes in the list of activity against McDonald's that the ACLU launched an advocacy campaign pressuring McDonald's to provide paid sick leave for all of its employees. Yo, these people are just so fucking pissy and cringy, dude. I literally... Like, the idea that human beings are capable of such cringe? My God. Fight for 15 has successfully lobbied for $15 minimum wage laws in several states, including in Florida, in November's election, where it passed with more than 60% support from voters. Co-founded by and largely made up of McDonald's workers, the campaign has become one of the most recognizable among labor organizing groups in the world. Its activism has helped lead directly to today, where there is a very real chance that Congress passes a $15 federal minimum wage. Two former McDonald's corporate employees who asked to remain anonymous to avoid retaliation from the company described details of the intelligence program against labor unions. The entire thing was messed up, one of the former employees said. A company should be working with employees and the people that drive the business, not building an intelligence program directed at reporting on those same people. Now imagine all the money that they wasted on these fucking like bizarre like fucking CIA styled intelligence programs. How much like they could have just given to their employees? Like how many dollars do you think was wasted on this stupid bullshit? The entire thing was, I already read that. As part of this program, since at least last year, McDonald's has used its internal analysis and two different pieces of data collection software according to internal strategy documents obtained by Motherboard. McDonald's intelligence analysts have used a social media monitoring tool to collect and scrape data openly available online and to help it monitor social media accounts. The sources told Motherboard that the company's intelligence analysts have attempted to use the tool to reconstruct the friends lists and networks of workers involved in the labor movement using fake Facebook personas. What the fuck? There are people out there being paid to create a fake Facebook account to, like, how do you do, fellow burger flippers, on according to two sources with direct knowledge of the efforts, the idea was to figure out their strategy, counter it, and find out where the key players are and who they know, a former McDonald's corporate employee told Motherboard. McDonald's denies this specific aspect of the program. McDonald's has never used fake social media accounts to actively gather information, including labor activity. McDonald's spokesperson Jesse Lewin said, of course they're going to deny it, because if they did do it, highly illegal and also incredibly immoral. This story is laden with false info. I'm not even about reading that. However, Lewin said that McDonald's does have a team, quote, focused on identifying any potential safety threats that could pose harm to our crew. Safety threats! People wanting to be able to feed their children. How dare you! You want to feed... Your child is hungry. And you work in a food restaurant. And you just want to make enough money to feed your child. How dare you! That hurts me so much. In fact, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I can't breathe. My safety.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry. Do you or did you used to work, do you or did you used to work at McDonald's? Do you know about the company's surveillance of workers, or do you know anything else about companies spying on their workers? We'd love to hear from you. Using a non-work phone or computer, you can contact Lorenzo Franceschi Bicciarari, I'm so sorry for that, securely by Signal, and you can, read that, on Wicker or at Lorenzo, whatever, you can just read that, I'll put that in the description. I like reading whole articles here, folks. Surveillance of labor movements and organizing is often couched in the language of safety. Here we go. Last year, secret internal documents from Amazon obtained by Motherboard showed that it was surveilling labor movements and environmental groups. Reminder, in Alabama, there's this union trying to form in Amazon warehouses. And Amazon, I shit you not, Amazon literally, I don't know if they hacked into or did, they were manipulating traffic lights to, make people late for work. So that if they were late for work, could get reprimanded and cut out of the potential to form a year. You know what I mean? These people are fucking nuts,
Unbelievable.
It's just, oh my god. The intelligence team's surveillance efforts also included keeping an eye on the public social media accounts, including using Google alerts of prominent labor movement leaders such as David Rolfe, a longtime labor movement activist, Mary Kay Henry, the president of the SEIU, and Rev. William Barber II, the founder of Moral Mondays and the Poor People's Campaign, grassroots movements for racial and economic justice, and a pastor at the Greenleaf Christian Church in Goldsboro, North Carolina. The alerts also included keywords such as wage theft, low pay is not okay, and fissured workplace, according to a document seen by Motherboard. You can read the rest of this article yourself, but you get the point. These people are nutso. They're crazy. Right? They're crazy. They will stop at nothing to scrape as much money as they can. All of these people that are in charge of these decisions, they've got enough money for themselves for the rest of their lives, for their children for the rest of their lives, for their children's children for the rest of their lives, for their children's children's children for the rest of their lives. But it's not enough. It's not enough. They need as much money as they possibly can because they're bloodsuckers and they're leeches. Capitalists do not provide anything. The idea that someone can make money off of other people's labor, I'm sorry, is ridiculous. It's a ludicrous concept, and it should be abolished. Like, again, I personally believe in a wealth tax. 100% of income earned above $500 million should be taxed. 100%. Not 99.9%, not 90%, 100%. No one should be able to become a billionaire. The simple idea that billionaires are allowed to exist in this economy and in this country and in this world is a crime against humanity even in and of itself. I believe to end world hunger it would only cost anywhere between 20 and 30 billion dollars. Meanwhile, by the way, Elon Musk just made like 50 billion in the last year. Again, these people are fucking ludicrous, dude. And if you're a worker or whatever and you're supporting capitalism, it's the best system we got. I'm sorry. You're a cuck. I'm sorry. You're a fucking loser. You're a loser. You're the same people who say, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with cops. They're just here to protect us. Fucking losers, dude. Seriously. And you're dragging the rest of us down with you?